Welcome, everyone, to the Lively Later Life channel. I'm so glad you're here.
Yes, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
For those of us navigating retirement right now, especially my fellow Canadian seniors tuning in, this space is completely dedicated to making sure our later years are wealthy, secure, and, well, absolutely vibrant.
Which is just so incredibly important today.
It really is. And today we are tackling a subject that is hitting every single kitchen table across the country right now. I mean, we're talking about the skyrocketing cost of groceries.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it is the unavoidable topic of the year, right? Everyone is feeling it.
Exactly. But, what we're going to look at today goes way beyond simple inflation.
Right, because we're going to look at the supermarket not as your friendly neighborhood store,
Uh,
but as a highly sophisticated psychological laboratory.
a psychological laboratory. I love that phrasing because it's so true. Let's start by sharing a story from the research we were looking at.
Oh, the story about Evelyn and George.
Yes, Evelyn and George. So they're a retired couple, and their situation is just incredibly common. The kids are grown, they've moved out, and their household has shrunk back down to just the two of them.
Which changes everything about how you should shop.
Right. But there was this strange trend happening in their finances. Their weekly grocery bills still looked like they were feeding a family of five.
Which is wild when you think about it.
It is. Evelyn would head to the store with, a simple list, milk, eggs, maybe some lettuce, but somehow she'd walk out pushing a cart loaded with specialty crackers, pre-cut fruit cups, and these massive bulk packages of meat.
And that creates an immediate logistical problem.
Oh, absolutely.
Because those massive packages they're physically impossible for a two-person household to finish before the expiration date.
Right. So George sits down one afternoon. He spreads out all the receipts, he audits the pantry, checks the garbage bin, and, well, he does the math.
The dreaded garbage audit.
The garbage audit, exactly. And he discovered that nearly 30% of what they were buying was either going straight into the trash or just sitting forgotten at the back of the pantry.
Wow. 30%.
30%. And Evelyn was devastated. I mean, she thought she was doing everything right by focusing entirely on what was marked on sale.
And, Evelyn's frustration is completely valid there.
Because she was trying to be frugal.
Exactly. She wasn't actually doing anything wrong. She was operating on instincts that professional marketers spend millions of dollars to exploit.
Millions of dollars just to get us to buy crackers.
Oh, easily. The sheer scale of the behavioral science at play in a modern grocery store it's staggering. I mean, supermarkets do not simply place food on shelves. They study human behavior with microscopic precision.
They really do. It's almost creepy.
It is a bit. They utilize infrared cameras to track exactly how your eyes move across a display. They alter the tempo of the background music to subconsciously dictate your physical walking speed.
Wait, they changed the music just to slow us down.
Oh, absolutely. Every square inch of that building is calibrated to trigger an impulsive buying decision.
Wow. That fundamentally changes how you view a Sunday errand. I mean, we think we are just grabbing food, but we are actually navigating this highly engineered obstacle course.
That's exactly what it is. An obstacle course designed to drain your wallet.
Well, our mission today is to hand you the ultimate strategy guide to beat the supermarkets at their own game. We want to help you protect your fixed budget by understanding the actual mechanics of these traps.
And there are quite a few of them.
There are. So we've talked about how they track our eyes, but the manipulation actually starts with how they organize the physical space, right?
Yes, the physical layout is step one.
Because Evelyn was mostly just grabbing what was right in front of her face. Why is that such a costly reflex?
Well, the moment you push your cart down an aisle, you are entering a highly competitive, ruthlessly priced real estate zone.
Real estate in a grocery store.
Yeah. Supermarkets divide their shelves into distinct psychological territories. And the most prized territory of all is what industry insiders call the bullseye zone.
The bullseye zone.
Right. This is the shelf space that sits perfectly between chest height and eye level for the average adult shopper.
So the prime real estate is basically wherever I don't have to stretch or bend down.
Exactly. And here's where the business model gets really interesting. Supermarkets act less like food merchants and more like real estate brokers.
Oh, wow. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, premium food brands pay astronomical fees. They're often called slotting fees directly to the supermarkets just to secure that bullseye spot.
Just to be at eye level.
Just for that.
Yeah.
It is a massive shadow economy. The brands pay this rent happily because they understand a fundamental truth about human biology,
Which is what?
that we are inherently efficient or, frankly, a bit lazy.
Hey now. I prefer efficient.
Fair enough. But we gravitate toward the path of least resistance, right? Which means we just grab whatever is directly in our line of sight.
Okay, wait. Let me challenge this from the perspective of someone who has shopped for decades.
Sure, go for it.
Aren't the items hidden down on the bottom shelf just, lower quality? Like, if I am paying 40% less for a bag of flour or oats down by my ankles, am I getting a 40% drop in nutritional value?
It's a completely logical assumption, but it is actually one of the most successful myths the food industry has ever created.
Really? So it's not true.
Not at all. If you look at the mechanics of food manufacturing, the reality is entirely different. Bottom shelf items, so your store brands, generic plain packaging, bulk staples like rice and flour, they are frequently manufactured in the exact same regional facilities.
No kidding.
Nope, they are often made by the exact same parent companies as the premium brands sitting at eye level.
So let me get this straight. A factory in Ontario might run a morning shift, producing the expensive, brightly colored box of oats, and then the afternoon shift puts the exact same oats into the generic bag.
That happens all the time. The nutritional profile is identical.
Then why is it so much cheaper?
Well, the only difference is that the generic brand hasn't spent $50 million on television advertising, and most importantly, they aren't paying the supermarket exorbitant slotting fees for that eye-level real estate.
Oh, so they pass the savings to us.
Exactly. Because their overhead is vastly lower, they can sell you the same product for significantly less. When you buy from the Bullseye Zone, you're literally paying a premium for the convenience of not bending your knees.
That is a staggering convenience tax. I mean, paying 40% more just so I don't have to tilt my head.
It adds up incredibly fast, especially on a fixed income.
It sure does. So, the immediate takeaway for us here, a habit we can all start building this week, is to actively train our physical posture in the store.
Yes, posture is key.
When you walk into the cereal aisle, the soup aisle, or, looking for coffee, force your eyes to the bottom two shelves first.
Before you even look at the middle.
Right. Before the colorful center displays catch your attention, physically look down to find where the actual value is hiding.
And it requires breaking years of muscle memory, honestly. But the price discrepancy between your shins and your nose is profound.
Between your shins and your nose. I love that. Okay, so looking down tackles the middle of the aisle beautifully. But we also have to navigate the ends of those aisles.
Ah, the end caps.
Yeah, those giant flashing sale signs that practically scream at you as you walk by? This connects perfectly back to Evelyn buying those massive bulk packages of meat.
Right, because she thought she was getting a deal.
She genuinely believed she was saving money because the sign told her she was.
Yeah, she was falling victim to the illusion of the bulk discount. Supermarkets rely heavily on end cap displays. Those are the shelves at the very ends of the aisles facing the main walkways.
They're impossible to miss.
And that's by design. Marketers know that when we see a massive, brightly colored sign shouting 10 for $10 or buy two, get one free, our brain's amygdala fires up.
The amygdala. So it's an emotional response.
Entirely. We experience an immediate sense of urgency and scarcity.
Oh, I know that feeling. We get this weird fear of missing out on, canned tomatoes. We think, if I don't buy 10 of these right now, I am actively losing money.
And that is the exact neurological response they are targeting. But if you look at the pricing mechanics behind the scenes, supermarkets will frequently quietly raise the base price of a single item in the weeks right before introducing these multi-buy deals.
Wait, they raise the price first.
So the discount you think you are getting is actually an illusion based on an artificially inflated regular price.
That is just sneaky. I mean, I understand the manipulation there, but I have to say, we've been conditioned our entire lives that buying in bulk is the ultimate rule of thriftiness.
Yeah, for sure. It's ingrained in us.
When you are raising a family, Costco runs and bulk buying are fundamental survival skills. It is incredibly hard to unlearn that instinct.
And that instinct was perfectly rational when you had a full house of teenagers. The math made total sense then.
Right. They ate everything in sight.
Exactly. But this is exactly why it mutates into a massive financial trap for 1 to 2 person senior households. Let's look at the reality of George's garbage audit.
Ah, the sad, sad garbage audit.
Right. When a smaller household buys a massive 5-pound bag of salad greens or those giant clamshells of strawberries simply because the end cap sign promised a great bulk deal, the biological clock on that food starts ticking.
And usually it ends up turning into a science experiment at the bottom of the crisper drawer.
Sadly, yes.
Yeah.
And the financial reality of food waste is brutal. Throwing away half of a bulk item because it's spoiled doesn't mean you save 50% on the purchase price.
No, it doesn't.
It means you wasted 100% of the money you spent on the spoiled portion.
Wow, when you put it like that.
For a fixed income, it is a complete financial drain, masquerading as a bargain.
That is a painful truth. Wasting half means wasting the money entirely. So, to combat this bulk illusion, we need to rely on what I like to call the only honest number in the entire grocery store.
The unit price.
Yes, the unit price. We need to stop looking at the massive, bold numbers on the sale signs and start looking at the tiny text in the corner of the shelf tag. It tells you the exact cost per 100 grams or per ounce.
The unit price is the ultimate equalizer. It strips away all the marketing noise, the inflated base prices, and the fancy packaging.
Just leaving the pure math.
Exactly, leaving you with the pure mathematical value of the food. Very often, you will calculate the math and realize the normal size container has the exact same unit price as the giant bulk version.
Which means buying the smaller one gets you the exact same financial value, but with zero risk of the food rotting in your fridge.
Precisely. It's a win-win.
Okay, so we understand the mechanics of the shelves and the pricing tags. Let's zoom out a bit and look at the physical architecture of the store itself.
The overall layout.
Right, because regardless of which chain I walk into, it feels like I always have to navigate a maze of cookies and chips just to get to the milk. How is the layout manipulating us?
Well, what you're experiencing is a foundational rule of supermarket architecture known as the golden perimeter.
The golden perimeter. Sounds majestic.
It's highly profitable, that's for sure.
Right.
Next time you walk into a grocery store anywhere in the country, pay attention to the blueprint. The essential, high-frequency daily items, so fresh vegetables, milk, meat, and eggs, are deliberately placed on the absolute outer edges of the building.
You know, you're right. The produce is at the front door, the meat is along the back wall, and the dairy is always, without fail, shoved into the farthest back corner.
That placement is absolutely no accident. The dairy section is at the back because milk is the most frequently purchased item in the store.
Everyone needs milk.
Exactly. By placing these necessities as far apart from each other as physically possible on the perimeter, the store architects ensure that you have to take the longest possible journey to complete a basic shopping trip.
They are forcing us to cross through the center aisles.
Yes. They want you walking past everything else.
I like to think of it as a casino layout.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
In a casino, the exits and the restrooms are always hidden behind a labyrinth of flashing slot machines. In the supermarket, your milk is the exit, but you have to walk past walls of high fructose corn syrup to get there.
The casino analogy is incredibly accurate because the center aisles are where the highly processed foods, the sugary snacks, and most importantly for the supermarket, the items with the highest profit margins live.
So they want us wandering around in there.
They want you lost in that maze. They want the visual temptation of those brightly colored boxes to slowly wear down your cognitive resolve. The longer you spend navigating the center aisles, the higher the probability that an impulse buy ends up in your cart.
So how do we outsmart the architect? How do we get our essentials without falling into the high-margin traps in the middle?
The most effective defense is adopting the 80-20 rule of supermarket navigation.
80-20 rule, okay.
You should structure your trip so that you spend 80% of your time strictly on the outer edges. The golden perimeter is where the whole fresh foods live. It is objectively better for your health, and by avoiding the processed traps, it is drastically better for your wallet.
So what about the other 20%?
You should only enter those center aisles with a highly specific targeted mission. If you need a bottle of olive oil, you go directly down the oil aisle, retrieve it, and immediately retreat back to the perimeter.
Get in, get the oil, get out. No browsing the center.
No browsing.
To make that work, we can actually use a great mental prep trick before we even leave the house. Try visualizing the layout of your local store and writing your shopping list in geographical order.
Oh, that is a fantastic tip.
Right. Put your produce at the top, then your bakery and meat items, and end your list with the dairy at the bottom. Creating this mental map transforms you from a passive wanderer into an active navigator.
You're taking control of the route.
Exactly. You are dictating the route based on your list, rather than letting the store designer dictate your route based on their profit margins.
That geographical list is a brilliant way to maintain control. But there is a catch.
Uh-oh. There's always a catch.
There is. Let's say you've executed the strategy flawlessly. You stuck to the golden perimeter, you checked the unit prices, you looked at the bottom shelves, and your cart is full of sensible value. You're heading to the exit.
feel like you're about to tell me the game isn't over. But my cart is full. I'm done shopping.
You are actually about to enter the most dangerous, highly optimized zone in the entire building.
No way. Where?
The checkout line.
The checkout line.
Yes. The few square feet leading up to the cash register generate the highest profit per square inch in the entire supermarket.
Really? Just those little racks of candy?
Yes, and it operates by exploiting a very specific neurological vulnerability called decision fatigue.
Decision fatigue. Okay, break down the science of what is happening to my brain while I'm just standing there waiting to pay.
Well, consider the sheer volume of cognitive work your brain has performed over the last 45 minutes. You've made dozens, perhaps hundreds, of micro-decisions.
That's true. Shopping takes focus.
You analyzed the firmness of 3 different tomatoes. You mentally calculated unit prices on oatmeal. You successfully suppressed the urge to buy the cookies in the center aisle.
It's exhausting just thinking about it.
Right. Every single one of those analytical choices burns glucose in your brain. By the time you reach the register, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logical, disciplined thinking, is essentially depleted.
So my battery is basically dead.
Your willpower battery is flashing red.
Wow, that makes so much sense because I always justified throwing a magazine or a candy bar on the conveyor belt as a little reward for finishing my chores.
A lot of people do.
My internal monologue is literally, good job, you survived the store, have a treat.
And behavioral scientists are banking entirely on that internal monologue. That feeling of deserving a reward is the trap closing.
Oh, that is so frustrating.
Because your prefrontal cortex is exhausted, you default to emotional impulsive thinking. That is why the checkout aisle is lined exclusively with low-priced, single-serve items.
Cold sodas, candy bars, tabloid magazines, little gadgets.
Exactly. They are strategically priced just low enough, usually under $3 or $4, that your tired brain simply doesn't bother to apply the same critical thinking you used back in the produce section.
Because my brain says, what is another $3 when I'm already spending $90? My guard is completely down.
But the math, over time, is where they win. If you succumb to decision fatigue and add a soda and a magazine, you've just quietly added $8 to your trip.
And if you do that every week?
You are draining hundreds of dollars a year from your budget. Those tiny, exhausted impulse purchases quietly and efficiently erase all the savings you just worked so hard to secure by checking unit prices and bending down to the bottom shelves.
They literally get you right at the finish line.
They do.
That is infuriating, but knowing the neuroscience behind it actually gives us the power to stop it. So here is our final strategy to take back control. We are going to turn the checkout line into a game of subtraction.
I love the subtraction game.
While you are standing there waiting for the person in front of you to finish paying, challenge yourself. Look down into your own cart, find at least one item that you added impulsively during a moment of weakness in the aisles, and remove it.
Just take it right out.
Hand it to the cashier and simply say you changed your mind.
It is a phenomenal circuit breaker. By forcing a moment of deliberate mindfulness, right when your brain wants to go on autopilot, you re-engage your critical thinking.
It wakes you back up.
It does. Committing to removing just one unnecessary item before you pay is a tangible mathematical victory for your fixed income.
So let's recap this incredible journey. We started by fundamentally changing how we view the store. It is a designed laboratory. We learned to beat the eye-level real estate trap by looking down at the bottom shelves where the unmarketed value hides. We shattered the illusion of bulk discounts and end-cap urgency by relying entirely on the unit price to protect our smaller households from food waste.
The only honest number in the store.
Exactly. We navigated the maze using the golden perimeter to avoid the processed high-margin center aisles. And finally, we set up a firewall at the checkout counter to beat decision fatigue with the subtraction game.
What is most important to take away from this is that managing a grocery budget with these strategies isn't about deprivation.
No, not at all.
You are not sacrificing delicious food or compromising your nutrition. It is simply about becoming an aware, disciplined consumer. You worked for decades to build your retirement funds. You have every right to keep that money in your own pocket rather than handing it over to a marketer who manipulated the tempo of the background music.
It is entirely about taking the power back.
It is. And if we look at the bigger picture here, it raises a truly fascinating question to leave you with.
Oh, what's that?
Well, if corporate marketers are going to these incredible microscopic lengths, mapping our walking speeds, analyzing the glucose depletion in our brains, and orchestrating slotting fees just to sell us soup and crackers,
Right.
how many other areas of our retirement lives are being subtly directed by similar, psychological architecture. Think about the glossy, complicated brochures we receive for healthcare choices, or the incredibly complex presentations of financial and insurance products.
Oh, wow.
It really makes you wonder where else our choices are being manufactured for us behind the scenes.
Oh, that gives me absolute chills. If they deploy this level of behavioral science for a box of cereal, they are unequivocally doing it when selling us a mutual fund.
Without a doubt.
We will absolutely have to explore that rabbit hole in a future deep dive. But for today, I want to thank you all so much for joining us for this conversation here on the Lively Later Life channel.
It was a pleasure to be here.
It is a genuine privilege to share these wealth-protecting strategies with our community of Canadian seniors. Before you go, drop a comment below and tell us, what is the one grocery item in your local store that you feel has gotten just way too expensive recently? We read every single one of your comments, and it helps us know what is happening in your neighborhoods.
We really do read them all.
Most importantly, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the Lively Later Life channel so we can continue mastering our finances and protecting our retirements together every single week. Until next time, shop smart, stay wise, and keep embracing your lively later life to the absolute fullest.